morning, everyone. Good morning, Birmingham. We're here for the regular scheduled meeting of Birmingham City Council, June 23rd, 2020. We're going to have our invocation by Councilor Hoyt and Pledge of Allegiance by Councilor Hoyt. If everyone could please stand.
Ooh, I've never had this before. Let me say good morning to all of you. As we invoke the presence of God, I wanted to share a word out of Philippians, the 2nd chapter, beginning with the first verse. It says, if any of you have any encouragement from being united with Christ, if any comfort from his love, if any fellowship with the Spirit, if any tenderness and compassion, then make your joy complete by being like-minded, having the same love, being one in the spirit and in purpose. Do nothing out of selfish ambition, vain conceit, but in humility consider others better than yourselves. Each of you should not look only to your own interests, but also to the interests of others. Let us pray. Eternal Father, our God, we thank you this day. God, we thank you that you would embody us with a spirit of unity as we make the decisions to move this city forward. We thank you for the leadership of our President Pro Tem, and the other councilors and the mayor's office and the mayor. God, we thank you for the city department heads who have the task of providing services for this wonderful city called the Magic City. God, we know there are many upheavals around this country. And God, we pray for peace, God. Peace, a peace that passeth all understanding. God, we thank you for those that you have assembled on the front lines. And we are mindful that COVID-19 is still a problem for us, for America, and even the world. And so, God, we ask that you give us a spirit of cooperation, Lord, and that we maximize our efforts to save lives and to prevent the spread of COVID-19. God, we thank you for those who fight on behalf of the people. God, we ask that those who are out there protesting, God, protect them from all harm and danger. God, we thank you for you have allowed us to wake up this morning and to start a new day, new mercies, new blessings, and we're thankful all the more. It is in Jesus' matchless name I pray. Amen. Let us pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen.
Good morning, Mr. Clerk.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Call roll, please.
Council Pro Tem Alexander. Here. Councilmember Hilliard. Councilmember Hoyt. Councilmember O'Quinn. Councilmember Smitherman. Good morning. Councilmember Williams.
Good morning.
Good morning. Councilmember Woods. Councilmember Abbott. President Parker.
Good morning. All righty. The minutes are not ready for February 4th through June 16, 2020. We're going to go on to our consent agenda. Mr. Clerk.
Okay. Consent agenda starts on page 2. We have items 2, 3, 4, and 5 on consent. Page 3, items 6 and 7 are on consent. Page 8, we have items 8 and 9 on consent. Page 9, we have items 10, 11, 12, and 13 on consent. Page 10, items 14 and 16 are on consent. Page 11, items 19, 20, and 21 are on consent. Page 12, we have items 22, 23, and 24 on consent. Page 13, items 25, 26, 27, and 28 are on consent. Page 14, items 29, 30, 31, and 32, as well as 33 are on consent. Page 15, items 34, 35, 36, 37, and 38 are on consent. Page 16, items 39, 40, 41, 42, and 43 are on consent. Page 17, we have items 44, 45, 46, 47, and 48 on consent. Page 18, items 49, 50, 51, 52, and 53 are on consent. Page 19, items 54, 55, 56, 57, and 58 are on consent. Page 20, we have items 59, 60, 61, if I can get to it, 62, 63, 64 are on consent. Page 21, items 65, 66, 67, 68, and 69 are on consent. Page 22, we have items 70, 71, 72, 73, and 74 on consent. Page 23, items 75, 76, 77, and 78 are on consent. Page 24, items 79, 80, 81, and 82 are on consent. And page 25, we have items 83, 84, and 85 on consent. Let's see. And that concludes the consent agenda. Yes.
Okay. All right. Council Smitherman.
Thank you, President Parker. I would like to add item 86 to consent.
Okay. Council Williams. Okay. Council Hoyt, I'll come back to you. Council Andrew. Okay. Council Hoyt, you're good. Number, you say 11? Okay. All right. You want me to come back to you, or you good? Okay. President Pro Tem Alexander, Mr. Hilliard, Council. Okay. All right. Cool. All right. All items designated as consent are routine and non-controversial and will be approved by one motion. No separate discussion of these items will be permitted unless a council member, the mayor, or citizen interested in a public hearing so request. If so, such item or items will revert to its normal place on the agenda order of business. All matters of permanent operation will be read. All other matters will be announced by reading the item number only. All public hearings will be announced. So,
Motion to approve is amended.
Second.
All right. Councilor Williams and was it Pro Tem Alexander?
yes.
All right. Council Member Pro Tem Alexander.
Aye.
Council Member Hilliard.
Aye.
Council Member Hoyt. Council Member O'Quinn.
Yes.
Council Member Smitherman.
Aye.
Council Member Williams.
Aye.
Council Member Abbott. President Parker.
Aye. Okay. The consent agenda passes. First item, Mr. Clerk.
Should be item 1. Item 1, and I'm sorry, an ordinance to amend Title 12, Licensing and Regulation, Chapter 10, Intoxicating Liquors, of the General Code of the City of Birmingham, 1980, to designate Avondale Entertainment District in the hearing of all interested parties. This is an item of permanent operation, so I need UC first to entertain it today.
Move the item.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, a motion on the item, please.
Second.
All right, it's before you.
Council Williams?
Thank you, Mr. President. This is going to be a public hearing for the Avondale Entertainment District. If we could have the speakers that would like to speak against this item line up to my left, your right, and the speakers that would like to speak for this item line up on this side. And no one's required to speak, but if you would like to speak. I see a lot of people in here that are specifically here for that item, so if you would like to speak, this is going to be your chance. All right. If you'll come forward and state your name and address, please.
Hello, Taylor Lander with the Avondale Forest Park Merchants Association and Avondale Brewing Company.
Hey, I'm Allison Wise, also with the Merchants Association. I work for Post Office Pies and Saw's Barbecue.
All right. Is there anything, do y'all want to give a brief overview of it, or I don't know how
Sure.
drilled down y'all have been in it?
We are
but-
here looking for approval for the entertainment district for the Avondale business area. The district would start on 5th Avenue and come all the way down 41st Street to 2nd Avenue South. It will include 8 to 10 merchants. We're really looking forward to hopefully just increasing the walkability of our area, increasing the foot traffic, and just looking to increase the area in general.
Yeah, the only thing I would add is that this is an intentional and collected effort by patrons, merchants, and the people of the neighborhood, and really will help us in an intentional way make the area safe and walkable and more vibrant than it already is.
All right. Thank you all both very much for being here. Colleagues, do you have any questions for these ladies? Is there anybody else that wishes to speak on this item? Well, before I turn it over, I will give my 2 cents. They've been working with the Public Safety Committee to get to this point, obviously, and this will be Birmingham's 4th entertainment district. We have Uptown, Pepper Place, and 5 Points South, which I don't think 5 Points South, I don't know if they've been approved, but I don't know if they've actually come to fruition yet. But so far, this has been very successful for the city of Birmingham. I think all the vendors that have participated in the other entertainment districts have seen definitely both an increase in sales and have really contacted us both before and after and during the process that it has been successful for their respective businesses. So I've heard a lot of good feedback over the past 3 years of us doing this. Back to you, Mr. President.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Council Williams. Mr. Clerk, we're ready
Okay.
for a vote.
Council President Pro Tem Alexander.
Aye.
Councilmember Hilliard.
Aye.
Councilmember Hoyt.
Yes.
Councilmember O'Quinn.
Aye.
Councilmember Smitherman.
Aye.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Woods.
Yes.
Councilmember Abbott.
Aye.
President Parker.
Yes, that item passes. Congratulations. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Clerk, next
All right,
item.
item 11, an ordinance to further amend the grants fund budget for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2020 by appropriating $103,707.37 to fire, U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Public Health, and Social Emergency Fund. Motion, please.
Second.
Okay, Council Hoyt?
Yeah, so, if someone could explain to me what this all is. Your mic. Okay, can you hear me now? Yes. Yeah, if someone could explain to me, what all does this entail?
Good morning, sir. Good morning, Ms. Mitchell.
Mitchell, Mayor's Office. Council Hoyt, to your question, this is a grant that we see from the the Health and Human Services that's related just to COVID for the fire department. The act really touches on employee paid leave for people that come in contact with COVID-19.
Okay, all right,
So
very good.
it's reimbursable.
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mitchell. Everybody else? Okay. All right, we're ready to vote.
Council President Pro Tem Alexander.
Aye.
Councilmember Hilliard.
Aye.
Councilmember Hoyt.
Yes.
Councilmember O'Quinn. Councilmember Smitherman.
Aye.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Woods. Yes. Councilmember Abbott.
Aye.
President Parker.
Yes, all right, that item passes. Next item, Mr. Clerk.
Be item 15, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute an interlocal agency affiliation agreement between the city of Birmingham and the Alabama Firefighters Personnel Standards and Education Commission for the Alabama Fire College for the city to accept EMT, AEMT, and paramedic students who are enrolled in college's emergency medicine course of study, allowing said students clinical experience subject to the covenants, warranties, and representations set forth in the agreement for a period not to exceed 3 years. And again, this is an item of permanent operation. I need UC to entertain it today.
Move the item.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, a motion on the item.
I move the item.
Second.
All right, this is before you.
All right, any questions, anything? All right, we're ready for a vote, Mr. Clerk.
Okay. Council Pro Tem Alexander.
Aye.
Councilmember Hilliard.
Aye.
Councilmember Hoyt.
Yes.
Councilmember O'Quinn.
Aye.
Councilmember Smitherman.
Aye.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Woods.
Yes.
Councilmember Abbott.
Aye.
President Parker.
Yes, okay, that item passes. Next item.
Item 17, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute a funding agreement with Red Mountain Greenway and Recreational Area Commission, under which the city will make an appropriation to the commission in an amount not to exceed $100,000 to support the operations of Red Mountain Park. Said term of the agreement to continue through June 30th, 2020, or the appropriation of the city, whichever occurs first. I need UC to entertain today.
Move the item. Second.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion on the item.
So
Move the
moved.
item.
Okay.
Second.
Counselor Abbott, Counselor Smitherman.
The item is before you.
All right, any questions or anything?
Yeah, is this item 17?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yeah, so who is the Red Mountain? I guess that's the commission that was created with all the different municipalities. Is that it? Or this is a different group?
Yes.
Okay. Well, Bishop Herron Johnson and all of them been a part of that.
Yes, I'm a part of it.
Yeah, Counselor Smitherman.
Sits on there.
Counselor Smitherman, you.
This is a part of it. Is it 2-year agreement that we did? 1-year agreement with them. So, TC is here. He's the director of the park, if you want to come up and speak. Just to answer any questions Council Hoyt has.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Good morning. So, what is your outreach?
Sir?
What is your outreach in terms of marketing in communities and various districts that people are taking advantage of this opportunity?
We primarily spend a lot of our outreach time in D7 in particular, D6 and D7. So we go to neighborhood meetings, community meetings, meet with neighborhood presidents and community presidents individually. So our outreach is really not super scalable at the moment because it's so personal. So it's really like one-on-ones with.
So you don't think that you'll need to go to other districts?
Oh, we absolutely need to go to other districts, and we'll if.
Well, I have yet to see anybody from Red Mountain Park at District 8's meetings at all.
We're working on it. We'll be there.
Well, I'd like to see a schedule.
If I may say,
Hold on. I was just like, were you finished? Okay, I'm going to recognize President Pro Tem Alexander.
yes,
ma'am.
I
Good
do just
morning.
want to say on behalf of Red Mountain Park, they are very active, and I can see the desire to increase that activity beyond just 6 and 7. I am very encouraged by the fact, I believe last year you all hired Ms. Jerry Haslam, who is a health educator here in the city of Birmingham, works with the, I think it's the Black Bike Swim Riders team to try to increase that community engagement, and she's been hired as the director of community engagement. So I've seen Ms. Haslam in the schools there in District 7 promoting activities for the youth, and also trying to get the residents more involved in the features of the park. Last year we dedicated the mine, what is it, the Red Mountain?
The sign to Irvin Batain.
The Irvin Batain,
That's right.
yes. And Mr. Batain was very active in also engaging the community where he lived, and
That's right.
was very impactful in getting residents to work there.
Yeah.
And Council Hoyt, before COVID hit, we had a commissioner meeting, and they discussed with me going to the different schools to do outreach, but everything kind of got halted for that. I know TC has numbers for how many Birmingham constituents actually use the park. You would be very proud that different people from Birmingham, Mountain Brook actually utilize this park. So it does good for the community. You should go out there.
Yeah, well, I don't doubt that it does. I just doubt that there's a real effort to engulf all of Birmingham. It's a Birmingham park, so therefore you have a responsibility to touch bases with all the districts. There are children probably in my community don't even know the park is even there, and so it's important that we educate folk. And if you've hired Jerry's a great person of the community. I know her very well. Been knowing her for a number of years. But we need your scope to be wider than just 7 and 6. That's no disrespect to those counselors. I'm saying we've been investing in this park for many years, and yet there are communities that that have not been marketed, and we want all of our districts marketed.
I'm in complete agreement, and it's not a sufficient answer to say I'm working on it, but that's the reality of where we started when we brought Jerry on. Is we hadn't done that intentional work of reaching out to even D6 and D7, and so it's sort of working in concentric circles to do that intentional outreach. But you're absolutely right that we are in Birmingham, and Birmingham needs to know about us.
Okay, so what I like if Council Hoyt, if at our next committee of the whole come back and we talk more about what the plan is to go citywide, so we could have them at our next committee at the whole meeting, and that way we can talk about, hopefully by then things would have opened up a little bit, and so you can share your, share the vision, and all of us, we can work through it together. Is Council Hoyt, you?
That's good.
Okay. I think we'll be fine.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Councilor Abbott, I know she had a comment.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask if you've seen an increase in usage during the coronavirus pandemic, and how do you keep up with how many people who are coming and where they're coming from?
So we did about a 2-week snapshot. It's not the cleanest of data, but it's really to give us a ballpark idea. And so we've extrapolated those zip codes over the whole that we see throughout the year. So about a third of park guests from that 2-week snapshot come from the city proper, about a third come from in the county but outside of Birmingham City, and about a third come from outside the county altogether. So it's sort of a neat segmentation of, we're a tourist destination, we're an integrated part of people's daily lives who live by the park, and we're something that folks from farther out in the county might do on a weekend. As far as COVID, Red Mountain Park's never seen a month with over 20,000 visitors ever until COVID, and now we've had 2 back-to-back. So last year we saw 125,000 guests. We've seen 90,000 this year already. We saw 24,000 in April and 20,000 in May. So we're on track to see about 200,000 people this year, which would outpace our highest ever total by about 50,000 people. So we're one of the few things that has stayed open and is big enough to allow for social distancing. So people have really gravitated toward the park during this.
Well, I've heard a lot of people say that they've been going to Red Mountain Park, people that I didn't even knew it existed. So I just wondered, but I wondered how, with all the different entrances, how do you know how many people are coming? I mean, it's a big park. How do you know?
Just like if you were to go into like a store at the Summit, they have laser counters, so we do too.
You have laser
so
counters.
When you walk into the park, it pings it one time, and when you walk out, it pings it again, and we divide by 2, and that's our total.
Okay, I just wondered. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, thanks. All right, we're ready. Mr. Clerk.
Council President Pro Tem Alexander.
Aye.
Councilmember Hilliard.
Aye.
Councilmember Hoyt.
Yes.
Councilmember O'Quinn.
Aye.
Councilmember Smitherman.
Aye.
Councilmember Williams. Absent. Councilmember Woods.
Yes.
Councilmember Abbott.
Aye.
President Parker.
Aye. Okay, that item passes. Next item, Mr. Clerk.
Should be 18, which is on page 11. An ordinance authorizing the mayor, upon receipt of payment in the amount of $4,161.75, to execute a quitclaim deed to Martha Parson for the sale of property located at 6021 5th Court South, Birmingham, which was acquired by the city upon foreclosure of municipal improvement liens in accordance with Section 3-1-4C of the General Code of the City of Birmingham. I need the UC to pass today.
Move the item.
Second.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion on the item, please.
I move approval.
Second.
All right,
Counselor Abbott, Counselor Smithman.
item is before you.
Okay. Do I have any questions? Okay. All right, we're ready to vote. Mr. Clerk.
Council Pro Tem Alexander.
Aye.
Councilmember
Aye.
Hilliard. Councilmember Hoyt.
Aye.
Councilmember O'Quinn. Councilmember Smitherman.
Aye.
Councilmember Williams. Councilmember Woods.
Yes.
Councilmember Abbott.
Aye.
President Parker.
Aye. Okay. Item passes. Next item, Mr. Clerk.
Should be 87, emergency purchase notice relative to the replacement of a broken window in City Hall.
Okay. All right. There are announcements that councilors need to make.
Yes, we had an announcement. Paul?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Councilor Hoyt, you start off.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. There will be a Bush Hill neighborhood meeting tonight via Zoom, and that is at 6:15. And if you go to the Bush Hills website, they have the link that you would need to participate in that particular meeting. There will be a voters registration drive on Thursday at the 5 Points West Starbucks partnership with the Black Partnership Network, and that will be Thursday, June the 25th, from 9 to 3. And we are also office providing free face covering until they run out, as long as they last. And so we want to encourage folks to come to the voters registration drive that we have, and you can learn about absentee ballots, absentee voting, candidates for the upcoming election, election dates, polling locations, and voters registration deadlines. And so I want to thank Axel Washington, who is a manager in Hoover, but with Starbucks, and we appreciate what he's doing, and Starbucks is trying to do to educate the electorate. And so I just think that's very important, and would encourage all of you to come through on Thursday. And people need to see us. So if you get a chance, come through 5 Points West Starbucks, and so you can meet people from all over the city. Okay.
What time was that again? Thursday at what time?
Thursday between 9 and 3 o'clock. Between 9 o'clock and 3 o'clock.
Okay.
Okay.
You'll
And
send-
have free masks for persons who need covering.
Okay. Thank you. Dr. O'Quinn,
Thank
we got your announcements.
Yes. So I think Councilor Hilliard also was, this message was communicated to him as well, but the 6th Avenue sliders are having a gathering at Fountain Heights Rec Center this Wednesday from 11 to noon. They're providing a safe environment for a workout during the week. So they'll have line dancing on Wednesdays from 11 to noon. They will have free face masks, and they're requiring that those be worn, and they will be practicing social distancing. Classes are free, and so please join them. Again, that's 11 to noon on Wednesday at the Fountain Heights Rec Center.
Okay. Thank you, Councilor Hilliard.
Thank you, Councilman LaQuinn, for bringing that up. Ms. German was going to kill me because I forgot. Very good. Mr. President, I don't really have any announcements at this point. It's only to say to the general public and those of you who are watching us on Facebook, please be cognizant of the numbers in dealing with COVID-19. They're going up. It is getting worse than it was when it first started. I'm very worried about my constituents as well as the citizens of Birmingham and my colleagues whom I work with here at City Hall. We must take it more serious and continue to increase ways that we can test people. Unlike some of the other people who are saying that they want to stop the test, I hope that you're not listening to that. I hope that you're encouraging your parents and your friends and relatives to still go down to Legion Field. Mr. President, they are still testing there. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Is the time still from, 9 to 4?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
And,
from 9 to 4. So there is no excuse. You can be tested. You should get tested. You should make sure you're covering yourself. We do have masks that we can give out in appropriate places to help you cover your mouth. So I say to you, don't be fooled. This disease is going to take out a lot of black people and a lot of people, period. But especially in the African-American community, we are more prone with hypertension, high blood pressure, high stress, the elderly. It has no discrimination. And so far, some of us haven't been victims or known people to be victims of it, but with an increasing like it is, when I looked at the map this morning before I left home, Alabama was covered in red. It was completely red. So that means there are people around us that are either carriers of the disease or have the disease. And it's your responsibility not only to protect yourself, but if you have an aunt or a grandmother, or in my case, I have a mom that's 80 who has 2 boys that have autism. They don't know how to wash their hands. I have to wash their hands. So if you give it to me, then I can no longer go home and help my mother with those boys or be around them. So I especially have to be careful along with the rest of you who may have seniors or people that you love around you. But as soon as summer will be over and the winter will be here. They say that you won't be able to hardly tell it from the flu to whether you got COVID-19. So that's a very serious issue. So I hope that you will use that opportunity to spread the word. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, President Pro Tem.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I do want to start first by thanking those citizens and volunteers who came out with us on Saturday, where we performed cleanup in the area in District 7. I've had a lot of positive feedback. Actually have residents that are asking when are we coming into other neighborhoods, and so we're looking forward to rolling those out and participating in those. We also have a video that I'd like to show you just about some of the other activities that we are having. So if you could roll that, please.
I wake up to this every morning. And I woke up yesterday and I said, God, I said, I thank you for this house. I said, but I hate to have to wake up to trash every morning. And then I peeped out my door and saw y'all doing this. It just blessed my soul, and I'm grateful.
Today is a beautiful Saturday morning. We're out here at Memorial Park. We are partnered with the Mayor's Office, District 6, 7, 8, 9, to clean up our neighborhoods. I'm very excited. So we're going to clean up over here in Tisville, and then over at Harrison Park, they're going to do the other half of District 6, which is West End and Oakwood Place. I'm really excited to be here, and thank you all.
Hopefully today we can get up a lot of trash, debris, things, undesirable items that are in our community, hopefully, and hopefully get a lot of lots cleaned as well. I know we probably can't get them cut today, but if we can just get most of the trash off of it, that'll be a good job well done.
Together to make sure that we keep our communities clean and we do trash pickup. We've done several of these all over the city.
It's important to me to keep our neighborhoods clean as well as keeping them safe. It improves property value. It just makes people feel better about where they live if they live in a clean environment. So I am very grateful to the citizens and the volunteers that have come out today. We have people from Red Mountain Park, we have neighbors in District 7, we have some community leaders that are all out here helping us today. So I'm very excited, very thankful.
Look, I would feel, you know what, all I can think of is hope. It's gonna be honest, all I can think of is hope.
For more from the Birmingham City Council, follow along with us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Stay safe, Birmingham.
So thank you again. I think you've heard from each of us who are very thankful for people cleaning up. I just ask you, when we go out and we clean up the communities, if everyone would just work with us to prevent the litter and the dumping. If you could just see some of the items, actual whole bags of trash that have been dumped in ravines and other places. And we can only keep saying so much of how this happens in our city, but once we clean those areas up, we ask you to help us keep them clean. So thank you again for the work that you've been doing. I also wanted to just also add that Councilor Hoyt and I participated in sort of a video town hall or video opportunity last week where our community leaders, Ms. Sims and Ms. Gibson. That's right. And in response to some of the things that were going on in the community as far as crime and safety, and we had an opportunity to have some dialogue with those community leaders, and also had our captain, precinct captain there from the west side, Captain Thurman. So I thought that was a very engaging dialogue. So thank you for that. And Mr. Hilliard just has one more announcement that we didn't answer. Go ahead. Thank you, Mr. President.
Okay, thank you, Mr. President. I was trying to get her to say voters registration this Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2 at the Mount Aaron Missionary Baptist Church. Voters registration.
Thank you, President Parker. So yes, the cleanup was very well. The first person you saw spoke on the video was one of my constituents that wasn't planned. I saw her come out the door, and I went to go introduce myself, and she started crying. And, you know, she started telling me about the story, and that's really inspiring. I think that's why, I can't speak for all of us, but I know that's why I serve on the council, to really see that, to really help our people. Just to what Councilor Alexander was saying, a lot of times it's not our constituents, it's other people coming into our neighborhoods from other cities and trashing our neighborhoods, and that's not right. So if you all see that, I'm asking the public, if you see it, there are ways you can report that. That is not right for you to have to live in trash when other people in other cities don't have as much trash but feel the need to put trash in your neighborhood. So I want to thank Rotaract for helping AmeriCorps. I think it's Visa or whoever it is that the mayor's office allowed to volunteer. Thank you for coming out today. And one last thing, I don't know if the public has read the article, but the 16th Street will not be renamed. It actually can't be renamed because of different legal hurdles. But I also want to say this was not the entire council's idea. I know a few of us were not for this. So I want to say that so it won't come back on us. But I want you all to know that it will not be renamed. And like President Parker said, we will have conversations, continue to. I know Council Woods, Council Williams, Council Hoyt has before in the past been talking with different groups and constituents, and we are going to find ways to support social services. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Council Woods.
Thank you, Mr. President. Real quick, a lot of times we have different swings and emotions when we have to talk about stuff here. I know Sunday I was out delivering some meals to my dad and my granddad. And coming back home, we kind of saw that storm hit and some trees had fallen. Unfortunately, one of our residents, Miss Kathleen White Holmes, she was 82 years old, and a tree fell on her home and killed her. She had lived in her house on 13th Avenue for 62 years, and so she, at this time, I'd like to move for a resolution of sympathy.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The item.
Move the item.
Second.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
All right, I appreciate that. Like I said, she was just kind of a cornerstone in that neighborhood, 62 years in the same house, and so she will be missed. That was just a freak thing, and unfortunately for her family that happened. And kind of also going forward, like I said, on those emotional swings that we all have to deal with sometimes. On Thursday, June 25th, I'm blessed to celebrate my 9th wedding anniversary with my beautiful, amazing, smart, talented wife, Dawn Woods. She's a pharmacist. She's helping me raise our 1-year-old and my 2-year-old daughter, and we're having fun. And I can speak for her, and she is happier than ever. And but just blessed to have her. Brings a lot of balance to my life, and so happy anniversary.
All right, thank
Need to get her side of the story.
Councilor Williams. Congratulations, Councilor Woods.
Yeah, congrats, man. I'd like to also request a resolution of sympathy for Mr. Tyrone Williams, Sr., who passed away last week.
Second.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, none of the item.
Move the item. Second.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
And anyway, he was a member of, he lived in Roebuck Springs and was an extremely active member. It seemed that every time we've had a neighborhood cleanup, somehow it ended up just me and him doing the cleanup, and everyone else kind of got back to their house somehow real early in the day. So he also ran against me in this last election, and he was one of those, even though he was technically an opponent, he felt like a friend. He put a smile on my face, and hopefully vice versa every time that we were together on the campaign trail, and it was a real pleasure getting to know him. I know he served as a principal or as many roles in the Birmingham City Schools, and he was extremely passionate about our kids here in the city of Birmingham. So I don't have enough nice things to say about him, but he will be very much missed, I think, across not only just Roebuck Springs, but across the whole city. And he definitely had the passion and the heart of a servant. So I think I speak on behalf of everybody. We will miss him very much. Thank you, Mr. President.
Yes, sir. Councilor Abbott.
Thank you, Mr. President. Well, last night, the Crestwood South Neighborhood Association had a conference call meeting to talk about the Trinity Project, and 2 hours and 15 minutes after it started, they had a vote and made a decision. And I wanted to, I'll admit, after hearing about previous meetings like this, I did not have very high expectations for the meeting, and I wanted to compliment all the people who worked to make it a success, because I felt like it was a successful meeting. And it's hard to not be able to see anything while you're talking to people on the phone about a physical project, and people are referring to things that you can't see, and it still worked out okay. So I had to pay a compliment to them, everybody who was involved, because I was skeptical, and I was happy that it was not as bad as I thought it was going to be. But I'm a little bit embarrassed now to think how horrible I thought it was going to be when it really turned out okay. But it was really, really, really long. 2 hours and 15 minutes on a conference call is a long meeting, much longer than this one. But anyway, it turned out well, and I'm looking forward to seeing how the project for Trinity Hospital's former property turns out, because we've been waiting a long time for a qualified developer to come and offer to do anything over there. The neighborhood is past happy about it. So there are, there's some little things like the fact that the walking trail that's been there for the last 50 years is going to be relocated, and the location where it is now is on the old Mineral Railway, so it's a historic site that they intend to put apartments on top of. So everything's not perfect, but it never is. So thank you, Mr. President.
Okay, all right. Thank you all. Council Williams, you got a motion?
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay.
All right, thank you all. Be safe.